Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life radio and podcast. This is 5 Minutes with Coach Myrna. And today I want to get into the conversation regarding Will Smith at the 94th Oscar. And I'm going to have a little different spin on it than everyone else because I actually read Will Smith's book, Will. I found it to be an excellent book. In fact, I went over it again after this incident to make sure that some of the topics that were in there were so relevant to what actually happened. Now, after I finished reading the book, I came away with 3 quotes that I wanted to expand on and share with you guys. And it so happens that one of them just was ripe for the picking for this incident. And that is one of Will Smith's favorite quotes that he said, "You have 10 seconds until the concrete sets and reality hardens." He used that several times in the book to talk about when people did something to him and they had 10 seconds to make a different choice. So what happened on Sunday, I believe, is Will Smith making a bad choice. He had 10 seconds from the time he was laughing at the joke to the time he decides to get up on stage and slap a man, Chris Rock, sit back down, and he was still in that, what I think is an out-of-body experience, because I saw his face and he was still in that moment. I bet you if you asked him what happened, he probably wouldn't remember, because something clicked in him and he had an out-of-body experience. And the reason that I want to bring this to your attention is because so many people have those 10 seconds and they make the wrong choice. We've always heard them say that when you're angry, count to 10. So Will Smith's analogy of you got 10 seconds until the concrete sets and reality hardens, it's almost the same thing as saying breathe and count to 10. Then choose a different thought. So why did Will Smith come up with this "you've got 10 seconds until the concrete sets" analogy? You know, one of the things that was so profound about this situation can be related back to Will's childhood. Doesn't it always start there? I mean, I don't think that in my life as a coach that I've ever seen anything, anybody's personal, how they show up in life, let's put it that way, if it didn't start with their childhood. So the book starts off by Will Smith calling himself a coward because he let his father beat up on his mom all the time, and he stood there and didn't do anything about it. He was a young kid. I don't know what he thought he could have done, but somehow in his mind, he felt that he was a coward. And he saw his father beat his mom several times. He actually even talked about an incident where he hit her, his father hit his mom so hard that blood came out of her ear. So he said that he was a coward. And he took this cowardness thing from a childhood all the way into his 50s, because he just did the jump over the Grand Canyon. And that was so that he can say that he's no longer a coward. So the cowardice has always been there. And I'm thinking that what actually happened is he felt that this act of slapping a man and protecting his wife on national television was the way for him to show that he was no longer a coward. But the sad part of all this is that when we see something often, we become acclimatized to it. And even though Will Smith, he said his father was his hero, but I'll go to say that he, didn't like that his father beat up his his mom. Excuse me. He didn't like that his father beat them up as a kid. He talked about one time when he got a severe beating for playing outside in the yard, and he didn't feel that he deserved it. But if you see someone slap somebody all the time, then it gets into your subconscious. So when he got up on stage and slapped Chris Rock, is because he's seen it done so many times. The other legacy that his father left him is that Will talks about it, where his father had him and his brother Harry build a wall that took them a whole entire year, every afternoon after school, no school holidays, right through the summer. Every day they were building this wall. So he learned to put concrete, he learned to put setting, and that's where he took this analogy from. You have 10 seconds for the concrete to set and reality to harden. He used this analogy when his fellow performer, Reddy Rock, refused to come on stage one night when they were calling him to come out and do his bit. He was a bebop artist, and he didn't come out because he was upset. And when Will went and asked him, what the hell happened? Why didn't you come out when I called you? He just sat there and said, because he didn't feel like it. And Will started counting down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, waiting for him to change his mind and make a better decision. He didn't. And that was the end of that. That was the end of Reddy Rock coming out to Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff's tour. That was the end of it. He never came out again. Concrete set, reality had set in. He used the analogy again when he had a problem with his girlfriend, Melanie. He talked about how she came downstairs one day all dressed up with cleavage and heels and eyeliner. I like the way you put it, in a mini skirt. And he asked her where she was going, and she says, out. And he says, well, you're not going anywhere. And she says, yes, I am. And she walked through the door. And he before she walked through the door, he gave her 10 seconds to make a better choice and go back upstairs and count down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. She went through the door. So when she came back home that night, she was met with Will Smith at the front of the house with all her clothes, and he burnt them. Concrete had set, reality had hardened, and they never saw each other again. So now let's get back to the slap that was heard on national television all around the world. Everybody is talking about it. So Chris Rock said something about Jada. Will Smith didn't like it. I don't know if he didn't like it when he heard it, or everybody now is analyzing and they're saying when he looked around and saw that his wife rolled her eyes, he decided that he didn't like it and that he should go protect her. But anyway, in that 10 seconds, he had a choice, and he made the wrong choice. Because like everybody's talking about, like I tell you, everybody is talking about this, and I'm listening to everybody. Everybody said that he was campaigning for years to get an Academy Award. In his book, he talked about when he was nominated for Muhammad Ali and Denzel Washington took his award. And here again, this was his biggest night, when all the odds were that he was going to win, and he let the devil, as he called it. And I will tell you something, that's exactly true. The devil is riding around looking for people to kill and destroy. And all he needs is your mind. If he can get your mind, then this is what happens. Take the choice. Whatever was in Will Smith's mind that, everybody's saying maybe is years of people talking about him and Jada, that, and I was listening to someone that says, well, he didn't slap the guy that she talked about having an entanglement with and slept with or whatever. Why is he taking this particular comment to this level? Because the devil had gotten into his mind. He made the wrong choice. The concrete is set and the reality is hardened. And a lot of times when you make bad choices, you go and you cry and you ask for forgiveness and you say you're never going to do it again or whatever, but you can't take it back because the concrete has set. Reality is hardened. You can ask for forgiveness, you can apologize, but you can't take it back. So now, the purpose of me wanting to tell you or talk about, you have 10 seconds before the concrete sets and reality sets in. As a coach, why am I telling you this? We so happen to use Will Smith's words right back at him, right? He said it, I liked it, and I was going to talk about it even before this incident. What does it mean? It means that you have to start training your mind to make the right choices. And just like how you can't learn to swim when you're drowning, you can't learn to train the mind or expect the mind to make any good choices when you're in the fire. When you're in the fire is not the time to train the mind. When you're in the fire, you want your mind to go on autopilot. One of the things that I always love about myself is that when there's a crisis, I show up. I show up. It doesn't mean that I'm trained my mind, but it means that I do well under stress because my brain goes into autopilot, right? And it just gets things done. And you don't have to think about it. But when you have to think about it, when you have to count down, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. You get to 1 and you make the wrong choice, right? The prison is full of both men and women who had 10 seconds to choose and they made the wrong choice. So whenever you feel that thing boiling up inside of you, it's coming because it's like a pipe. I felt it, the anger, right? It warns you, you feel it coming, right? When you feel it coming, you pick another thought. I love Wayne Dyer's quote that says, change the way you think about a thing and the thing you look at will change. Change the way you look at a thing and the thing you look at will change. Just imagine that Will Smith had taken that joke as a joke. In fact, I was listening to Howard Stern this morning and he was talking about it and he said that, people shave their hair for any kind of reason. They could shave their head because they're going for a role. Yes, the joke was about G.I. Jane, right? And Demi Moore did shave her head for that role. So people can shave their head for a role. They gain weight. They get skinny when they want to show that they have AIDS. She's an actress, right? So she could have been shaved her head for any role. So if Will Smith had taken that as just a joke, he calls himself a comedian. I'm seeing that Amy Schumer went out there and said some things to the people, and nobody got all upset about it, right? It's a joke. It's called entertainment. Think about it though. If he had chosen a different thought, hey, he's a brother. He's out there doing his work. The person that he's giving the award to, no, don't need to have this. In fact, the guy that came up to get his award, he couldn't even talk because the atmosphere in the air, the whole thing has changed. He couldn't even concentrate. So he ruined that moment for that guy who won, the Black guy who won regarding a documentary about Harlem, I think it was, right? He ruined his moment as well. Choose a different thought. Choose a different thought. And you got to start practicing, because only with practice can you be perfect. If Will Smith had chosen another thought, then he would have gotten up there and accepted his award, and he would be joyous, and you would recognize all the 30 years of work that he has worked to get to this moment, that he got to this moment. He would have been able to be, be joyful instead of being up there and crying like a man. So 1 minute you slap a man and you feel emasculated, and the next minute you're up there crying like a little girl, right? Which one are you, right? He would have been joyful. He would have gone home, and the next day, the Chris Rock comment would have been a memory, because it would have been like a dream. It would have been gone. But now it's going to live on the internet forever. They're going to be talking about this moment at every Oscar. Comedians are going to be thinking when they go on stage, is there somebody going to come up? I guarantee you that the Oscars will have security now. So everything has changed because you make the wrong choice. Don't let the devil grab you, whether it's at your highest peak or your lowest peak. Always protect your thoughts, always protect your mind, and give yourself 10 seconds to make the right choice. Count with me. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's enough time to make a better choice. So this is Coach Myrna Young, and you have been listening to 5 Minutes with Coach Myrna. I hope that we're using a life event to show you that you don't want to make the wrong choice, because when the concrete sets and reality hardens, there's nothing you can do about it. It is there forever. So until next time, blessings.